From the Bay Area's local news station, we begin now with breaking news.
That breaking news happening right now. Protests erupting in the East Bay over the shooting of Jacob Blake by police in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Good evening. I'm Ken Wayne.
And I'm Pam Moore. Blake's shooting has sparked protests across several cities in the nation. Kron 4's Ellis Ogamonian is live in our newsroom right now with more on the demonstration happening in Oakland tonight. Ella.
Pam and Ken, hundreds of people have taken to the streets already in just the last hour or so in response to similar what we saw last time with the killing of George Floyd, except this time they are chanting the name Jacob Blake.
Jacob Blake! Say his name! Jacob Blake!
This is video courtesy of Dennis Perez Bravo on the ground in Oakland right now as they make their way down Broadway, and he's reporting broken windows and fireworks allegedly shot at police. Jacob Blake is a man who was shot by officers in Kenosha, Wisconsin this weekend, and just outside his car, which his children were sitting in. The 29-year-old is now recovering in the hospital while an investigation is underway into whether he had a knife in his hand at the time as claimed by police. Blake's mother sent a message to the nation requesting the protesters stay peaceful, that any violence would not be welcome to their cause. But tonight we have learned from Oakland police that say agitators tried to set a business on fire on 8th and Broadway in Oakland that firefighters responded to, and that some people in the crowd are setting garbage cans on fire. OPD is sending a message saying we support First Amendment rights and we have created safe spaces and safe places for demonstrators. However, setting off fireworks is illegal in Oakland, yet agitators continue this illegal activity. Coming up, we're going to go over the latest details in the investigation into the shooting that, according to his family, left Blake paralyzed, and how local and national pro sports have been reacting to this news, using their platform to highlight nationwide demand for social justice. Live in the newsroom, Ellis Ogamonian, Kron 4 News.
All right, Ella, thank you. And more breaking news tonight as thousands of Bay Area families begin to try and piece things back together. We are also learning about those killed in the fires. One of them is a 64-year-old man in Vacaville.
The sheriff's deputies contacted us. They said that they had discovered a body in the property.
We're going to have more on the Vacaville victim in just a minute, but first, here's the bigger picture. Crews are making progress on the 3 major fires, the fire areas burning in the Bay Area. CAL FIRE says the LNU Lightning Complex fires in the North Bay are now 33% contained. The SCU complex fires in parts of the East Bay and South Bay are 30% contained. And the CZU August Lightning Complex fires burning in San Mateo and Santa Cruz counties are now 21% contained.
And now the latest on the second largest wildfire burning right now, the third largest in state history. The LNU Lightning Complex burning in 5 North Bay counties now stands at nearly 361,000 acres. 5 people have died, 4 others hurt. The fires destroyed more than 1,000 structures and threatened more than 30,000 others. Starting tomorrow, nearly 300 members of the California Army National Guard will help fire crews battle the LNU complex fires. They arrived today at the CAL FIRE base camp at the Sonoma County Fairgrounds in Santa Rosa. Many of these soldiers have fought fires before, but all have spent the last few days training with CAL FIRE crews. Officials say these additional boots on the ground will be working as hand crews, trying to get a line around the fires. Firefighters say making progress the next few days is critical.
3 of what we refer to as a 5-day window of opportunity, where the humidities came up. We got that coastal influence here, which improved our weather conditions. That's the absolute time that we need to take advantage of resources like the National Guard, where we can take advantage of the fire behavior, where it's not necessarily rapidly moving in any direction, that the humidity's up and the fire is more of a creeping mode. So we can get these crews in there and actually physically construct containment lines that'll absolutely be beneficial to this incident.
With help from the California National Guard, more firefighters will be able to focus, among other things, on protecting homes and mopping up debris.
The LNU Lightning Complex fires have destroyed more than 1,000 structures and damaged almost 300 others. More than 30,000 structures are still threatened. We want to show you a map that's very helpful to try to figure out exactly what has burned and what has survived. So this is called the LNU Lightning Complex Structure Damage Status Map from CAL FIRE, and you can zoom right into individual homes on this map. Let's take you into the Spanish Flats area. The locations, the homes marked in red on this map have been destroyed. You can see the icons over here describing that. The ones that are green, like this one right here, is affected. And just north of this residential area, we have a mobile home park where almost all of the mobile homes have been lost. Just we count three, 1, 2, 3 homes, mobile homes that have survived. About 3 dozen others were destroyed. If we go a little bit farther south here on this map, you can see this other area on the map, and it is called Headlands Drive, which is this street right here. And look at all of the homes that have been lost here. Several dozen homes here, this neighborhood here, and over here. All the black homes, again, marked in black, have survived, and they are not damaged. And right here, next to Vacaville, in the Vaca Mountain area, right against the border of the city of Vacaville. This is the perimeter of the fire, and you can see there are subdivisions right up against the perimeter. This is where some homes have been destroyed, other homes have survived. But firefighters, Daniel Berlant from CAL FIRE told us earlier tonight, if the wind conditions change and the temperatures heat up again, these perimeters could be expanded and the winds could shift. Some homes lost here on the coast, the Sonoma coast, just northwest of Jenner. Jenner is right down here. Highway 1, the mouth of the Russian River, and then up here south of Lake Sonoma. This is another part of the LNU complex fire. Not as many homes destroyed here, but again, the perimeter so close to communities. Here's Healdsburg, and this is the perimeter. So just to give you an idea of what's going on, we have a link of this interactive map on our website. Just go to kron4.com and you can find out more about those situations there. Pam?
Thanks, Ken. 2 of the LNU complex fire victims were Solano County residents, including 64-year-old Leon James Bone. Crown 4's Taylor Bisacki talked with the victim's family today. She joins us live now from Vacaville with more. Taylor.
Pam, this is what's left of the victim's property, and it's unfortunately not much. You know, if you were able to see right now, I know it's difficult because it's nighttime, but several structures were on this property, all burned to the ground. A lot of things melted. You could really tell how hot this fire was. And unfortunately, the victim's family tells us that their family member was here, and this is the place that they lived all of their life. And unfortunately, now it's the place where they passed away.
That was the last time that we saw him.
Really sad news out here on English Hills roads. We also hear that his neighbors are also very upset about what had happened. Also, James' property isn't the only one that was damaged. Along the way, we saw several other structures and homes. For now, we're live in English Hills. Taylor Bisacki, Kron 4 News.
Taylor, thank you very much. To the CZU Lightning Complex fire burning in San Mateo and Santa Cruz counties. This complex has now grown to more than 81,000 acres. It is 21% contained. One person has died in the fires. More than 500 structures, in fact, it's about 590 structures have been destroyed. More than 24,000 others are still threatened.
Gail Ong has been in Santa Cruz all day today, seeing the damage firsthand.
And Gail, it's hard to look at. For some, it just doesn't even look like it's real.
It looks like a war zone in the town of Boulder Creek. Some of the neighborhoods there have been virtually wiped out. I want to show you video. This is the area of Fallen Leaf Drive and Fern Rock Road, right off of Highway 236, live in Scotts Valley. Gail Ong, Kron 4 News.
Thank you, Gail. The largest one of the fires we are monitoring is the SCU Lightning Complex. 5 people have been hurt. So far, it has been the least destructive, though. 20 structures are destroyed. 6 have been damaged. However, more than 20,000 structures are still threatened tonight. Crown 4's Michelle Kingston has the story of 2 men who were burned by that fire as they were trying to evacuate in Livermore.
I hope I can one day live up to what you've done, kid.
In Alameda County, Michelle Kingston, Kron 4 News.
The SCU complex fires have scorched 5 East Bay regional parks, while 3 of them are still actively burning. Park officials say Sunol, Ohlone Wilderness, Morgan Territory, Mission Peak, and Round Valley, all of them hit by lightning that caused fires inside the parks. The fires in Round Valley, Morgan Territory, and Mission Peaks are in the process of being mopped up. All district parks except shorelines and regional trails have been closed since last Friday because of high fire danger and unhealthy air quality. If air quality improves to acceptable standards, park officials say they plan to reopen most non-fire affected parks tomorrow. Let's take a live look outside now. We'll give you a view of
that in your 10 and 10 coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Lawrence, thank you very much. Another big story we're following about tonight that we told you at the top of this newscast, the latest police shooting of a black man, this time in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Investigators say a police officer shot Jacob Blake 7 times in the back on Sunday night, paralyzing him. Today, the Wisconsin Attorney General identified that officer who opened fire as Rustin Shesky, a 7-year veteran of the Kenosha force. He also revealed that Blake acknowledged at the time that he had a knife during the time of the incident. Police were initially responding Sunday to a domestic violence call involving Blake. He now remains in the hospital in Milwaukee. His family says he is paralyzed from the waist down. Wisconsin's Division of Criminal Investigation plans to provide a report to the prosecutor there within 30 days.
That was the sound of 2 gunshots. A protest in the Blake shooting turned deadly last night in Kenosha. Police say a 17-year-old identified as this young teen, Kyle Rittenhouse from Illinois, shot at demonstrators last night, killing 2 people and injuring another.
Hundreds of people took to the streets in Los Angeles today. You can see in this video they were protesting the shooting of Jacob Blake. They rallied near the Hall of Justice in downtown LA, joining dozens of other cities and showing solidarity with the demonstrators in Kenosha. And as we told you at the top of this hour, there is also a protest happening tonight in downtown Oakland. Oakland police tweeted out this video of a barrier on fire in the middle of the street. They also tweeted earlier tonight that some people were setting garbage cans on fire and breaking windows along Broadway, adding that agitators in the crowd tried to set a business on fire along 8th and Broadway, but a quick response by OPD and Oakland Fire prevented any further damage. We will continue to monitor what is happening in Oakland tonight, and Kron 4's Ellis Ogamonian will have an update coming up at 10:30.
Meantime, professional athletes are taking a stand on the civil unrest that's happening across the country because of this latest shooting. Among them, the San Francisco Giants postponed their game with the Dodgers earlier today. Our sports director, Jason Dumas, joins us now live in the newsroom with this thing that is really spreading in the sports world and really threatening to end the seasons.
Yeah, Ken, it has been a day. And what started as the Milwaukee Bucks refusing to come out of the locker room for their game. But for now, that's all I have. Back to you, Ken.
All right, Jason, thank you very much. Our breaking news coverage on the wildfires will continue ahead. How some neighbors are finding a ray of hope amidst the devastation.
Plus, Hurricane Laura close to making landfall along the coast of Louisiana. We're tracking its strength and the destruction it is expected to cause. That's ahead.
But first, California lawmakers reach a deal to test more people for COVID-19 faster when the new testing process is set to begin.
California is preparing to test 150,000 extra people for COVID-19 every day.
Today, state leaders announced a $1.4 billion deal with a major diagnostics company. The contract would more than double the state's current daily testing capacity and shorten the turnaround time to 1 or 2 days. Health officials say this program will also test for the flu. State leaders say the ramped up testing would begin on November 1st and run until March of 2021.
Today's announcement comes as the CDC issued new testing guidance. In a move that surprised many health experts, the agency is no longer recommending that asymptomatic people get tested, even if they have been exposed to the coronavirus. Governor Gavin Newsom says he does not agree with the new guidance and will not be practicing it in California. Santa Clara County Health Officer Dr. Sarah Cody called it, quote, entirely bizarre.
When I first heard about this change in guidelines, I actually didn't believe it, for it seemed entirely bizarre, in that it undercuts our very basic tenets of how we control an infectious disease. Testing and having individuals know their status is foundational to our ability to control an infectious disease, and certainly our ability to control COVID.
Many are speculating that the CDC came under pressure from the White House to make the rule changes. The CDC's new guidance also no longer advises travelers to self-quarantine for 14 days after arriving from overseas or states with a high rate of COVID-19 cases.
A scare at the state capitol today. The Senate was forced to cancel its legislative session after State Senator Brian Jones from San Diego County tested positive for COVID-19. This comes as lawmakers still have hundreds of measures to consider before Monday's deadline. Officials say they'll use all the necessary tools to ensure they can complete the necessary work in Sacramento by August 31st. The Senate did change its rules earlier this year to allow for remote voting, but officials did not say whether they plan to use that. As of tonight, there are a little more than 670,000 COVID-19 cases across California. More than 12,000 people have died since the pandemic began.
We are looking at low clouds and fog here. We are talking about a major hurricane now making landfall in the U.S. Your 10 at 10 is coming up next.
We are continuing to follow breaking news in the East Bay, where demonstrations are underway right now in Oakland.
The protests here in response to the police shooting this weekend of a black man in Wisconsin. His family members say he is now paralyzed. Kron 4's Ella Sogamonian is live in the newsroom with more. Ella.
Pam and Ken, hundreds of people have taken to the streets in the last 2 hours in Oakland. Peaceful protesters are marching in solidarity with Jacob Blake's family, his mother pleading with the public not to resort to violence. But tonight, reports on the ground and Oakland police say that some within the crowd are causing damage by breaking windows and throwing objects like launching fireworks and setting fires to garbage cans along Broadway. PD say that firefighters have responded to a business on Broadway and 8th Street that agitators in the crowd tried to ignite, and they are asking people to stop and not point lasers at the officers at 7th and Washington, and that people do not cross the barricades that they have set up. OPD sent a message saying that we support First Amendment rights and have created safe spaces and safe places for demonstrators. However, setting off fireworks is illegal in Oakland, yet agitators continue this illegal activity. And so we've gone over some of the details in that investigation into the shooting that, according to the family of Blake, has left him paralyzed, and how local and national pro sports have been reacting to this news. They have been, of course, using their platform to highlight that nationwide demand for social justice that we have seen from the peaceful protesters tonight. Live in the newsroom, Ella Sogamonian, Kron 4 News.
We've also been hearing that the 19th Street BART station in downtown Oakland has been closed during the protests there. The city of Vallejo knows the pain caused when police shoot and kill citizens. In the past decade, that city has had 18 deadly police shootings.
Now, city leaders are looking into an idea to allow a Black Lives Matter street mural to be painted in front of City Hall. But as Kron 4's Jonathan McCall learned, a lot of people are looking for more substantive change than yellow paint on the street.
Black Lives Matter street murals have become a popular symbol to protest police brutality. In Vallejo, Jonathan McCall, Kron 4 News.
Hurricane Laura, we've been talking about that, and it has made landfall. You're looking at a live picture from the Houston, Texas area. This is Lake Charles, Louisiana.
From a Houston station, yeah.
From a Houston station. Right. The reporter there is obviously talking to his local news audience, but you can see just how dramatic this storm is, how it's unfolding with the heavy rain. Just looking at his live report here, the camera shaking in the wind, heavy rain pouring down. He's trying to tell the story of what's going on.
Let's listen, if we can, let's listen in for a couple minutes and see what he has to say.
Water keeps getting in and it's hard to hear. Yes. Yeah, the power just went. Oh, yeah, it's starting to flicker. That's not going to last much longer. Okay. Let's go back in a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. Again, it's hard to hear you. I apologize for that. Please say that again.
Okay, clearly he's trying to communicate with his station about his live shot there. He appears to be going back to a garage, to a car in the area.
That's a safe place to be, inside an underground garage. But yeah, just giving you a taste, Lawrence, of the weather conditions. And let's show you some video from earlier today showing the storm surge that flooded a state highway. This is in Golden Meadow, Louisiana, right on the Gulf Coast. There are fears of a 20-foot storm surge along the Texas and Louisiana coast there. So, Lawrence, this is a scary situation.
Yeah, extremely dangerous storm that is now making landfall. In fact, looks like the eye now finally coming on up as we head toward the following weekend.
Thank you, Lawrence. We're following two major wildfire complexes that have turned deadly. The LNU Lightning Complex fires burning in the North Bay is responsible for 5 deaths. The CZU Lightning Complex fires in Santa Cruz and San Mateo counties are responsible for 1 death. In Vacaville, a ranch that has been serving as a popular event center for schools and Rotary clubs is now gone. Flames from the LNU complex fires destroyed a scenic guest home on top of a ridge and an historic hall called the American Dream Park.
We talk about the American dream of immigrants, like everybody else before us. We feel very thankful. We want to give back to America.
But amidst all this devastation and destruction, there is some hope. The animals at the ranch that fled the fire have all returned, and that's good news. Back to our wildfire coverage, this Palomino, beautiful horse named Pumpkin, and her friend, a little miniature donkey named Trouble, which is a good name for a donkey, are back home tonight in Woodside. They left this afternoon from the Cow Palace in Daly City. That's where they had been sheltered from the CZU Lightning Complex fires in San Mateo and Santa Cruz counties.
The Cow Palace is currently serving as a temporary home for hundreds of livestock evacuated because of the fires. Kron 4's Maureen Kelly shows us the wide variety of furry and feathered evacuees.
Reporting from Daly City, I'm Maureen Kelly, Kron 4 News.
Still ahead, the Republican National Convention's 3rd day wrapped up tonight. The highlights when we come back.
In sports, it was the NBA, specifically the Milwaukee Bucks, which touched off today's sports boycotts. Jason has a reaction from the team coming up.
Continuing with our breaking news coverage in Oakland, we're getting a look at some of the damage caused by protests taking place there. We understand this is a video from a tweet by Oakland police showing a business near Lake Merritt that we're told had its windows blown out by fireworks. We also heard of a business at 7th and Washington Streets near the city jail and kitty corner from the Oakland Police headquarters that was, there was an effort to set that business on fire, but OPD and Oakland Fire were able to put out that fire. And there have been barricades, Pam, in other parts of Oakland that have been set on fire as the protests continue over that police shooting in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah, as often happens, protests as the night goes on get out of hand and become violent. This particular protest that started out in Oakland was in support of the protests continuing in Kenosha, Wisconsin because of the shooting of Jacob Blake. There was also a protest today in Los Angeles, one in Minneapolis where George Floyd was killed by police. All of this continuing where there have been outbreaks, bursts of acts of violence. Nonetheless, protests that start out peaceful turn this way.
Pam, I wanted to mention that store. It's been a long time since I've been in there, but that looked like it could have been the Whole Foods store near Lake Merritt, up near the north end off of Grand. I could be wrong, but we're just told that it's a business near Lake Merritt, and I saw the big Oakland sign, and it looked like it was a grocery store, so I'm just speculating there. Tonight also kicked off night 3 of the Republican National Convention.
Vice President Mike Pence took the stage this evening, making the case for another 4 years of President Donald Trump. Mary Maloney has highlights.
On the 3rd night of the Republican National Convention in Washington, I'm Mary Maloney.
Democratic vice presidential candidate Senator Kamala Harris is joining San Francisco leaders calling on schools to stand up against racism aimed at students. They want the schools to take part in a program called Stand Up for Asian American Pacific Islander Youth during COVID. Organizers say Asian American students have increasingly been exposed to racist language and attacks since the virus arrived in the U.S. early this year, and schools lack the tools to address it.
Tonight's sports report brought to you by Xfinity Internet. We've doubled our speeds. The fastest just got faster.
4 years ago today, Colin Kaepernick sat on the bench for the national anthem during a preseason game against the Packers. A wild, wild day of sports. Let's do it all again tomorrow. That's your look at sports. We'll be right back after the break.
We continue to follow breaking news out of Oakland at this hour. That is where protests have been happening in response to the shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Oakland police tweeting this less than 10 minutes ago, saying Interstate 580 is back open. It was temporarily shut down to traffic because of demonstrators. Our Ellis Ogamonian will keep monitoring the situation and bring you the very latest at 11 o'clock on Kron On. And listen to this story. A New Jersey family was flying to Ohio for a wedding earlier this month when the mother of the bride realized that she left behind the wedding dress at the airport, and the wedding was happening the next day.
That's not a good situation to be in. The bride's younger brother immediately emailed the TSA about the lost carry-on, but got an automatic reply that said responses take 5 days. Well, fortunately for the family, an administrative assistant saw that email, found the luggage, and sent it overnight to Ohio.
They did everything they could to bring the dress to me. That was my dream dress, and I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
By the way, the family didn't tell the bride about the missing dress until the reception. That's a good idea.
All right, one last check of weather outside tonight. The low clouds and fog surging back on shore. A little drizzle even showing up along the coastline. We'd love to see more of that, especially with the fires around the Bay Area. And we're seeing plenty of fog out there to start out your day tomorrow morning. By the afternoon, you're going to see some sunshine. Temperatures up in the 80s, so reasonably warm. Inland 70s, a few 80s inside the bay, and some sunshine. Patchy fog lingering out toward the coastline as we head toward the afternoon. You're 10 and 10. We're going to see a decrease in the low clouds and fog as we're going to start heating things up on Friday into the weekend, then cooling down early next week, only to see those temperatures warm up by the following Saturday, guys.
Thank you, Lawrence. Thanks to everybody for being with us tonight.
It's been a very busy night. Kron On at 11 o'clock coming up. Have a good night.
Good night.